Ladies and gentlemen, Dungeons and Dragons, welcome to After Hours of Who Asked You podcast. Who asked you for this review? Post our previous success with The Mandalorian Season 2, the boys and I decided to create a different podcast that will be aired on YouTube of our reviews of different TV series, maybe movies. We'll see where it goes. But this week, on this week's show, we were discussing WandaVision episodes 1 and 2. I'm joined by my hosts, as always, Ross Parker and Kalib. Boys?
I don't even get a last name?
Yeah, what the hell?
LaChapelle.
Thank you. Come on.
Oh, that was a sweet intro.
Alec did a great job introing that. That was run number 2 there, and the first one was not done because we didn't talk about it before. But how are we formatting this? What's the plan here?
To start.
Yeah. Well, we'll start with the non-spoiler review to start. We'll talk a little bit. We'll give our brief overall review with 0 to 10 out of question marks. We can do decimals, do all that jazz. And then once we give the non-spoiler review, we will say goodbye to anyone who doesn't want it ruined for them. Anyone who has watched it, or maybe you don't care about spoilers and you're a gutless monster, well then welcome.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Do not know how you just.
There's people that do that though. Like one of my old roommates literally didn't watch any of the Marvel movies up until Infinity War, and just looked up spoiler reviews of them to figure out what was going on.
What a waste of an experience.
That's the thing. I can't imagine if it's something I'm really into, spoiling it for myself.
Yeah.
Okay, my grandma is huge into Star Wars, and she wanted me to tell her all the details about Episode 9. I'm like, man, I can't tell you any of this. And she's like, tell me, you little shit. And she did call me a little shit.
Just got a knife to your throat. Like, Grandma, did you take your meds?
Grandma, right. Chill.
So we got lucky this week. We get 2 episodes with WandaVision.
Yes.
And they don't have titles, but and this is not a spoiler. These are probably what they're referenced off of, and you're going to see it. You saw this in the trailers. I'm calling episode 1 I Love Lucy, or I Love Wanda.
Yes.
And then the second episode is obviously Be Wanded, because it's Bewitched.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my kind of spoiler takes on it, is that
this
is very referential.
And again, they're all based on... It's just an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all based on different 50s television shows.
Be Scarlett Witch is a better episode name.
Yes, it is. All right, what do we think? I guess that's Alec's job to ask. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let Alec do it.
Oh, that's cool. Since I have it written down on there, Kalib, thoughts? Non-spoiler thoughts first.
Yeah. People on social media were super into this. I'm into it. I'm waiting to see where it goes and what we learn in the next couple episodes. I'm not super into the whole 50s television thing because I never watched any of them. So some of the Easter eggs and stuff and the funny ha-has from that don't really land for me, but it's fun. I enjoyed it.
It's very reminiscent of what I think our parents enjoy.
Yeah, I think
and that's
so too.
That's what I told my dad. I told my parents, I'm like, you guys would love these first 2 episodes because they are just your guys' shows that you watched in the 60s when you were kids that aired in the 50s. It's very similar to that. And I would say, yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. And it's very tantalizing.
Outside of some very specific spoiler stuff that we'll get into, a lot of it was 50s television sitcom jokes, which were fine.
They hit.
Yeah.
They just don't hit as hard as they did back in the 50s.
Yeah.
Right.
But these first 2 episodes were extremely tantalizing in terms of just information.
Yeah.
It's very confusing. Ross, your thoughts?
I'm in the same boat as you guys. First off, it's great just having Marvel back in general.
Yep.
It's great having Marvel content back after literally missing all of 2020 with it. So first off, that's awesome. In terms of the overall show, I think I'm in the same boat as Kalib. I'm into it. I'm still kind of in wait and see mode because these first 2 episodes you can tell it's very clearly setting up. It's just setting stuff up, which that's fine. They need to do that. I'm enjoying it. I'm still kind of just waiting and seeing. It's good.
That's I will say, I don't know if Ross or both of you agree with me. I enjoyed the second one a lot more than the first one.
definitely when it got going.
Yeah.
I felt like
Yes,
this.
I
yeah.
think so. I
When
think I'm
more
in
of the
boat.
world got revealed and we kind of figured out what we were doing there, I started to enjoy it a lot more.
This was a very slow loading period for me.
Yeah.
Watching these two is what it felt like.
Yes.
But I think we're starting to get into the meat. But by the end of episode 2, no spoilers, but you'll start to get into the meat and potatoes of the storyline. I feel like that
Yeah,
happens.
I think by the end of episode 2, to put it in like video game terms, we got through the tutorial at the end of episode 2.
Yeah, I would definitely qualify
That's
that.
a great way to put it.
I believe my thoughts were kind of given when I gave them the titles. Obviously, episode 1 is I Love Wanda. Second one is Be Scarlet Witched. Those are my 2 references and 2 reviews of it. And it is a 1950s era show. Doesn't hit well with us born in the 90s because we never got that type of comedy. Obviously, I think our parents played it for us.
Mhm.
Like, but none of us really committed.
Mine didn't. I watched Dragon Ball Z when I was like 3. I didn't ever get into like the 50s stuff.
My parents were huge into Friends.
Yeah, my parents, well, lucky. My parents played a couple of those things like Doogie Howser. No, not Doogie Howser. There's another one. There's a couple other stuff. I don't remember any of them, but they all had this comedic element of timing that they have in this one, where it's just weird. It's like blatantly telling you a joke's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like, it's in the style of that, and it's really good in the style of that. Like, it's cool that they did it so well, but like, I'm ready to get going.
Yeah, it's definitely not a long-term process they're going to continue with.
I'm ready to get going with the storytelling.
All right, and I think that's a good transition to getting going with our.
Do we give our review first,
version.
or?
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, yeah, that's a good thing.
Our point reviews
All right, so
for episodes 1 and 2.
yeah, Caleb,
Oh,
shall you lead?
I'm gonna go episode 1. I don't want to start off too low, because like I didn't not enjoy it. I'm just gonna give episode 1 a straight 7, and episode 2 is gonna get a 7.3.
You are a braver man than I am.
I didn't want to put the 6 tag on it.
I'm
You putting the 6 tag on it?
maybe we'll see. Ross, what are your thoughts on it?
I'm pretty close to Caleb. I think the first episode, I think part of it's just me getting used to the format of the show as well, but I'm at a 7.1 for the first one. And then for the second episode, I'm okay giving it a 7.4 question mark.
Yeah.
We're staying on trend where Ross gives the highest.
It's
And
true.
I'm definitely just going to get both of them pretty low. I think honestly like a 6.3.
Oh,
I Love Wanda.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm not a huge.
I was thinking that. I
I'm not
almost
like
put 6.5 on the first one.
because I'm taking into style, and obviously I think this is intentional though. I think it's supposed to be this like kind of style of 1950s and stuff like that.
Like,
But-
we do get that this is what it's supposed to be.
And then
It's just not our thing.
yeah. So, but by the time I get to the Scarlet Witch, I'm definitely starting to see some. There starts to be some holes being popped in this 1950s world.
Yeah.
Which I think people are going to enjoy. So I will give it the 6.9. I'm not going to give it a 7 because it's
Which
not
is
like
kind of what we predicted, right? Like I made the comparison of what I thought it was going to be to that mission in Fallout where you're stuck in the 1950s and stuff starts to go haywire. Like without getting into spoilers too much.
I'll definitely break some thoughts on some spoilers because it's certainly. I think you're right. They are trapped. I think there's a difference of where they are trapped and what people are thinking. But I think when you get to episode 2, the Scarlet Witch, you start getting some outside sources into the game, into the element that I think
especially
brings
in
it,
the last like 5 minutes.
that just bring it way more to the 21st century for us.
Yeah.
And there was a scene in I Love Wanda where they did have that too, and I'm not going to talk about it there. But once again, not a huge fan of the 1950s. Not a huge fan of black and white. Very difficult to watch something when I know it's way better than that. And but that being said, Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany, they killed it as like 1950s characters.
They're great.
Yeah, they're
I'll give them
great.
credit. But I'm also a hard grader, and that's been known from our previous like reviews. So 6.3 and 6.9. Not gonna give
Elizabeth
them a
Olsen
7.
actually murders. Like she's
Yes.
doing. It's very good.
Yes.
Yeah, they both bring it to the table. But so, all right, now we're on. We're on
Yeah,
to
This is
review.
your last
all right.
warning.
This is your spoiler warning. We are getting into spoiler territory.
All right, so 5, 4, 3, 2,
I thought you were about to do the 5, 4, 3,
3,
2, 1.
What?
Level.
Hey, there you go. No, spoilers are in. All right. Paul Bettany can get drunk. Vision could get drunk by chewing gum. Like, what the fuck?
Vision got fucked up by eating a piece of gum.
not. That's not even episode correlation, but that was just fucking weird.
Vision should have been on our list from the episode from the last.
It's kind of funny to think about though how remembering from Age of Ultron how Vision is this advanced cyborg, but like on the cartoon in the show they still portray him as like a fun cartoon, like it's cogs in there when you know it's like actually deep intricate shit.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, he's a cartoon.
Also,
yeah.
In this show,
Wanda didn't have to kill him in Infinity War. She could have just shoved gum down his throat.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have been able to do anything.
Yeah, apparently. But episode 1 though, let's start there. Obviously, I just took it off with that fucking thing, but episode 1, we get the hearts that come over.
Yep.
They obviously have no idea where they are. Like you can see Wanda and Vision are like, they moved to Westview. They have no idea how they got there. They have no wedding rings. They don't know when they got
their
married.
anniversary is.
Yep.
They don't even know what's happening on the day until the boss says.
Yeah. And the 28th of whatever that day was, that's also in 2023.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're trapped in the 1950s. They're trapped in
Somebody's
2023.
brain. Yeah.
And definitely, yeah. Go ahead,
You know,
Ross.
this brings up a great point of going back to like Inception. In Inception, they talk about how when you enter a dream, you don't know how you got there. You're just there.
Definitely.
And so this seems like something where I don't know if they're in some hypnosis or if they're put into some machine or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely seems like the 100% they're in some. What's even the right way to say this? Like some alternate reality or something like
they're
that.
definitely, I would honestly say they're in this domed reality. Westview is now this domed reality that is, it seems to be catering to Wanda. And theories out there. Let's just start with there. Kalib, I have an idea on where they are and who's trapped them in there. Do you think you have any on this like dome reality?
My guess is Sword, right? Because we see at the end of each episode, somebody's watching them, and that somebody has a Sword insignia on their computer. They're using a Sword notepad. That's my guess.
So you think Sword's got them trapped in it?
Whether or not, because.
Well, I have a theory on this
it
too,
could
and
be
I'm
a Hydra thing.
Well, because we did see the Hydra insignia.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna jump to the end of episode 2 because I do have a slight theory on this. We saw the Sword insignia as if someone's watching them, but at the very end, and we see that beekeeper coming out of the sewers, and someone asks like, "What was it, Wanda, who did this to you?" Or
who's doing this to you, Wanda?
And then
that was the voice of. Am I mistaken, or was that the voice of the guy from Shield? The
Phil Coulson?
The Asian. Yeah.
Oh,
no,
the Asian guy.
The Asian guy. What's his name?
Yeah.
Oh, the FBI guy from Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's who it sounded like to me.
Well, one thing I'm also curious about is because remember, right before the B-Man comes in,
Jimmy Woo.
Woo. Yes.
We see Vision and Wanda talking about Wanda being pregnant, and then Vision goes, "Is this really our lives?" And then they go out, they see the beekeeper, and then Wanda goes, "No," rewinds everything. So I think that no is a huge indication that also Wanda is intentionally putting herself in here and kicking out reality.
So I agree with Ross in the sense that, and I think both of you are right in a sense with my theory, because I think Sword is trying to get into this domed reality that we are in, that is Westview. My also thoughts on it is that Scarlett Witch is the protagonist and the antagonist of the storyline. Like everyone thinks she's trapped in it, but I believe she's the one that's controlling
Trapped
it.
herself in there.
And she's putting herself
You think
deeper
this is
into
some
it.
sort of like
House of M kind of deal.
Stress, like coping mechanism that she's trying to do.
A post loss of like a person that you loved. There are many. I mean, there's like tons of like stories or news articles where a husband dies, wife keeps husband's body in
that
like
also,
skeletons. And
it also
like,
explains why Vision is so like kind of
Comedical?
ditzy in this.
Yeah, he's comedical. He's personal.
So
Um,
uses
doors.
Yeah.
By this measurement of what we're kind of gearing towards with our conversation right now, are we all in agreement that it seems like Vision also is a part of this warped reality that Wanda is making up?
I think
no, I think the opposite. I think she's making him up.
I think he's making her up. There's a other theory that's
what I meant. She's
like,
making him up.
Yeah.
There's a well, I'll get to that when we talk more about episode 2, but I think in episode 1, I Love Wanda, we saw when the Hearts came over, Mr. Hart starts choking. Mrs. Hart just kind of goes, "Stop it," and just keeps continuing it. This is when it turns from. Well, at first it's playful, and then
it gets kind of creepy.
Like a minute into her saying "stop it," it turns into a Alfred Hitchcock horror movie where everyone, like the cinematography obviously changes from 1950s to these close-up there of the faces, almost like a Get Out kind of like style of like a psychological thriller of that close view, and I feel like Mrs. Hart wants Wanda to stop it.
Yeah,
she like stop this, stop this, like stop like controlling us. Like Wanda can control people's memories and minds. Like, let's not forget that.
So it is shifting too, because I did Google this. The song that's playing on the radio in episode 2 before we get the "Who's Doing This to You, Wanda" is from 1965, and the song in the first episode is from 1953.
1950s. Yeah, yakety
so like
yak,
it's moving forward quite quickly.
Her style of clothing, the wearing
pants
is a 1960 style, not a 1950 style. So she's trying to be fashion forward, yet everyone else is still fashion backward.
So then in that theory of when the Hearts come over for dinner and the wife's saying, stop it, Wanda again chooses to delve deeper into this fictitious world when she tells Vision, save him.
Yeah.
You
also have to, Vision doesn't do anything before that. So that is another thing where I'm thinking like Vision's not real. She's projecting Vision because he doesn't do anything to save Mr. Hart until Wanda instructs him to.
Yeah. I think we touched on this before where some of us, I think we agreed that Vision could be fake heading into this show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not a simple thing of him like being under her control, because the rest of the people, they are under her control. Vision's powerful enough to where I don't think he would be fully under the control of Wanda if she was like trying to.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
There is also part of me that thinks Vision is alive and well in this WandaVision universe, because she also does kind of try to keep Vision from figuring things out. True. Like, no, don't look outside.
Yeah.
No, don't question anything. This is our life now. You know, that's towards the episode 2, but still working on episode 1. Vision goes in, saves Mr. Hart. He's get his job. His job's super weird. He's like increased 300% productivity.
Yeah.
Yet he doesn't know.
But then,
he's questioning
what he does.
Yeah, he's questioning what I'm doing here. He's like, what do we do? Do we?
That was also just like a dig at capitalism. Like, what do we make?
Yeah.
What are we providing?
Yeah, I thought it was just hilarious because he's like, I don't know.
All we computational forms.
Yeah, computational forms, which is a thing they did back then. Like, I mean, and Vision would be immensely good at it since he's just a walking computer.
And also, it is funny how he got super offended when the guy asked, you're like your computer or something.
You're like a robot.
He's like, no, I'm a perfectly carbon-based life form.
I'm a carbon-based life form.
This is very reminiscent of like TV shows like Alf or like wherever they have to hide something in a suburban life household. They're trying to hide themselves. Obviously, I don't think any of us watched Alf. I just knew that reference though.
I think the biggest thing from this is just the fact that like we have these guesses, but we're 90 minutes now into watching this show. We really have no fucking idea what's going on.
Blatantly clueless, honestly.
Yes.
Like our theories of this like Westview dome world
could be entirely wrong.
Who's doing it? We don't know. We see Agnes, this nosy neighbor, like the prototypical nosy neighbor of a sitcom. She seems to be kind of untethered by like the world around her. Like she's the only one that doesn't seem to fall very much into prey to it.
Also, what's her name? The black lady Wanda meets in episode 2.
Well, she's from another thing in Marvel, isn't
Captain
she?
Marvel.
Yeah.
Captain
Yeah.
Marvel.
She
was the little girl in
Photon.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, she is, I believe, Photon.
So like, there's a lot of tie-ins that are in this that could go somewhere, could not go somewhere. I did also see, because I was doing a little bit of research into the comic part of it, because I'm not as
Monica Rambeau.
That's it.
I'm not
remember,
as up to date on that, but like, isn't there, Alec, you might know better than me. From my searches, it seems like there is a comic line where Wanda gets pregnant, but the kids, she has twins that are the parts of the demon, Mephisto, is that his name?
Yeah, they're spawn of Mephistos.
Yeah. So like, and she is pregnant at the end of episode 2.
Yeah,
we do see that.
She has like 2 kids named Wiccan and Speed, I believe.
So like, that could be where we're heading with that too.
Yeah, so I mean,
I do want to circle back real quickly and finish up on Monica Rambeau.
Yeah.
Because remember when her and Wanda first meet, she also looks as if she struggles to remember her name.
Yeah.
When she first asked for it. And then we also have confirmation from what we know about what shows and movies are coming up that she's going to be in another movie. Is it not Captain Marvel? Is it Miss Marvel? She's in something else. I think it's Miss Marvel.
Yeah, so transitioning away from I Love Wanda into be Scarlet Witch, we definitely see Monica Rambeau's character. She's at like what, the meeting of some sort?
It's like the committee.
They're planning the talent show.
Yeah, so once we get into Scarlet Witch, we kind of start seeing some signs of an outside world in that. Like, I mean, the start of the episode, something banging on the doors. Later, Wanda finds a helicopter that has a sword logo on it. That's
and it's colorful.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that tells us that it's from the outside world.
And also the lady whose yard she
Dottie.
found that helicopter in, when she cuts her hand on that glass, her blood is colorful.
Red. Well, then also during that conversation, Dottie was the lady's name, the super pompous chick. And remember, that's when the radio started tripping out.
That's when the radio starts going.
And then Dottie looks at Wanda and is like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely started to see, like, even she's breaking the spell of like, why am I here? Who are you? Why am I talking to you?
I wonder, this is literally coming to me as we're talking about this, that Monica Rambeau's character, if she could be someone sword sent in to try and bring Wanda back to reality. And that pauses her trying to remember her fake alias.
I think, like I said, Westview is now this like dome under Wanda's control, and whatever enters it starts to become part of her like world, her plaything. Do you guys ever remember that episode of Pokemon where Sabrina the psychic, where she turns people into dolls and they become part of her playhouse?
Yeah.
I feel like it's very similar to that in a sense that the closer you get to Wanda, the more you lose your control of it. She controls you. She warps your reality. You're now in Westview, this TV show. And I think the helicopter that came in was probably carrying Monica Rambeau. And then now she's now part of the neighborhood. She's now part of the watch. She's doing the thing. And I think a lot of these characters are probably
big question is then, how do people like Beekeeper get in then?
So he goes underground, which is weirder.
Yeah, he comes up from the sewers.
Yeah, definitely the end of that of the Scarlet Witch was like weird.
Yeah,
because he's in color.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, was he?
No, he is.
I thought he was just wearing
He's in
white
black and white.
Oh, okay. He's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
legitimately scary.
You come out of the sewers and you have bees or flies. He looks like he's wearing a bee suit. So I assume they're bees. He's wearing a sword logo.
Yeah, it's weird.
So do you think they sent him in as like an undercover agent? Like he couldn't walk into Westview, but they were trying to plant him in there
maybe
as a beekeeper?
And then just got caught?
Yeah, and she caught him.
Is Beekeeper like a character?
No,
in
there's no
comics?
character. Not that I know of. Beekeeper villain, Marvel.
And that's the thing. Is this show, you mentioned villain, this show I don't even think is setting up a main villain. I think it's just, I don't even know if that's possibly I don't think that's being set up at all.
That's why I said
Swarm is the only one that pops up.
Is it a dude?
Yeah. Marvel's Nazi supervillain Swarm. but he fights Spider-Man. That's the thing. We're like making these things up as we're going. We have no idea where the show is going.
So I'm literally reading right here that it's possible that Beekeeper may be Swarm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see now. There was a spider in one of the cabinets in episode 2 also.
First of all, that helicopter that comes in episode 2, she turned an entire. First of all, that's a government-sanctioned helicopter. There's no like, you don't make a toy of a secret agency.
Yeah.
She turned it into a toy.
Which also means like, whatever the people that were inside of it.
I think they become part of Westview. Like once you get close to her.
The 2 pilots?
Monica Rambeau's a pilot.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, she
I bet you anything she was on that, and that's how she became.
She was flying it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But I definitely tell you, I think she's controlling this world. She is the antagonist and the protagonist of the storyline that we kind of see.
Yes.
And I think it is like a little depression from losing, Vision.
Yeah.
And denial.
Honestly, she could be in a coma. She could be sleeping right now, creating this entire world, and we don't know.
Well, because we don't see her in Endgame, right?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. You took everything from me. Remember?
Yeah.
I was just about to say that.
I'm dumb.
And
Yeah, because she's in the female badass scene. Yeah, I'm dumb.
My favorite part, or my favorite meme so far, is the one where it's like it shows all of Wanda's faces that she makes in the show, like the and all that stuff. And it says like somebody posted on it. It's like, I kid you not, this is the strongest character in the MCU.
I saw that.
And I was like, that's true. She's like manipulating reality right now, and she doesn't have an Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
Theoretical, full-blown mind control of these people. So
I think our biggest takeaway is literally anything could happen in episode 3.
it's
Yes.
we don't know, right? Is the real talk right now.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
We don't know. I think our theories are about as good as anyone else's. Things starting to get colorized towards the end, though.
Well,
Yeah,
they
'cause
just
when-
got colorized at the end of
Fully
episode 2.
colorized.
Yeah, I
But
think
we don't know if we're going back.
Yeah, I think Sword is somebody. I think Caleb, you're right. That Sword is. I bet you Sword is just on the outside of this thing,
Trying to break
looking
in.
in,
Yes.
Yes.
watching it like a TV show, taking notes, like and then they're trying to get in any way, shape, or form. Like, who's doing this to you? Why are this happening?
We have seen it in James. What was it? James Woo character?
Jimmy Woo.
Jimmy Woo, thank you. We've seen it where his character in one of the trailers, he's sprinting in from like the forest with other agents or something. So it's possible that a part of me keeps wanting to think that like this is contained inside a Sword base. But after thinking about that, his character, and then that trailer snippet, this should be something where Wanda literally just created this in the middle of like a forest or middle of an open field or something like that. And like agencies are swarming around it.
Yeah, she totally could have. Westview's not big. Like, we're not getting this isn't like a big town.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen what, like 12 people total? No,
Yeah.
like 25 people total.
It's a 1950s sitcom town.
And here's the thing. I
small.
think we all can agree that Wanda's a powerful enough character where like this what's the right word? This
Dome reality.
dome, thank you. It doesn't even necessarily like need to encompass the full world on the like if you're outside looking into this thing, like if you're the agencies on the outside, it doesn't even necessarily need to be like the whole per scale.
No, people
make
could be like in their bed sleeping. It could all be inside of their brains that Wanda has just brought them in theoretically.
Yeah,
And it should be, and maybe it should be no bigger than the size of a house, this dome.
I mean, I really just think it's just some small town that she's just taken over, and like just like those 1950s sitcoms, they're not going to use like Vision's going to go to a baseball game with his coworkers. You're never going to see the stadium. You're never going to see what they did. They're just going to talk about it in the background. It happened off screen.
And who
right?
knows? Wanda could keep expanding and creating more and more of this world.
I think that might exhaust her powers, but wouldn't be a step for
At some point she has, like
I feel like that's how they break it.
This entire, that could be also how they break it.
Just
Too many people inside.
Just keep sending in Sword.
There's
just a DDoS attack.
It's just 100 people in this town now that only has like 14 houses. So that she's just looking around like, when are all these people?
Wanda's like, brain is breaking.
Yeah, you have to keep so many people under your control. Like in my theory of that, like Wanda is antagonist, protagonist in this game.
Yeah.
I think that's how they get to her, is they just keep push. Just General Krell, a full
sending people
forward
in.
attack.
Mhm.
All right. I mean, do we have anything else?
Very excited to see what happens in the next one.
So
It'll be
excited.
colorized.
Hey, at the end of the
Probably
day,
going to be in the 1970s.
at the end of the day, it's great to have Marvel back.
Yep.
So many theories.
We've got what, like 6 months of Marvel, and then we're kind of got a break, and then a couple months of Disney in the end of the year, or a couple
you-
months of Star Wars.
Did you guys notice that the timer, the toaster timer, is the only thing that's the red light is the only thing that's
Yeah,
colorized in the first
colors.
episode?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it also starts ticking like a bomb.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, terrifying.
Yeah.
This show is eerily weird.
Yes, it's unsettling.
Yeah. But I think that's all we got for who asked you to do this review, or who asked you to review. We have the
Who asked you
title
for this
somewhere.
review?
Who asked you for this review?
We're
Do I
still
throw the
working it
break
out
in there?
ourselves.
Who asked
We're
you for this review?
For this review.
Yeah.
Just the Ryans.
All right, guys. Catch you next Sunday
Have a great week,
this.
everybody.
for the next episode 3 of WandaVision, which I will have another title for.